All right, friends, welcome to this week's Wrestling Breakdown with Ed and Vanessa, and we are pleased to be with you once again. Welcome, Vanessa.
Hello, Ed. How are you?
Oh, it's cold in Indiana, and you're out there in California staying warm, but it's good.
That's awesome. It's good to hear. I'm glad to be back. I was MIA for 2 weeks, but I'm more than happy to be back. A lot of things going on with moving and renovating rooms, and then last week I wasn't even home. I was in Costa Mesa for Invicta 15. I've just been running around everywhere, but it's good to be back.
And you are back, and we have a ton of stuff to cover this week.
Yes, and that's why I'm glad that I could be here for this one, because so much stuff is happening in the wrestling world that I don't even know how to take it all in. It makes, I don't know, some of it doesn't make any sense. Some of it's like, is this actually happening right now? Like,
well,
is it real?
And let's just jump right into what we're talking about. AJ Styles is the name right now, and things are so crazy that he has not appeared on WWE TV, and people are predicting that he is winning the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, for the first time ever, the WWE Championship is being if you win the Royal Rumble, you get a title shot at WrestleMania. They're doing it different this time, and I gotta believe that maybe that's why they're doing it different, because they already knew, like, oh, by the way, we're signing AJ Styles, and we want him to go over hugely and be the champion. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I mean, it's a bold prediction, but not one that's too far-fetched.
Yeah, it's not far-fetched, but man, think about all the different aspects. Trevor and I talked off air about this. Look at how many guys that are in the WWE that are going to be upset that AJ didn't have to pay any dues, so to speak. I put quotes there because he's paid plenty of dues.
I was just about to say that. But WWE is not the end-all, be-all of professional wrestling.
Uh-oh, there went all of our WWE marks.
They're all gone. We lost them all. No, but seriously, I said, it's not the end-all, be-all, and he's been on the indie circuit for years. I know a lot of people complain about people hyping up indie darlings or whatever it may be, but the fact of the matter is he's one of the best professional wrestlers that we have today, if not possibly the best. We talk about our Daniel Bryans and our CM Punks and our Finn Balor's or whatever, but he's right up there. He has to be on the top of the list. So if they give him the title, a lot of WWE marks will complain. I already know, because they do that a lot. But professional wrestling fans will understand and will be okay with that decision.
Well, it's kind of interesting that there are those people that care about the wrestling business, and then there are those people who care about individual promotions, and that's all good. I mean, I'm not here to be critical of those that are just a one promotion, but we've got some information here of what Ring of Honor went through with this, and Ring of Honor announced that they will hold a send-off for AJ Styles at their Saturday event in Duluth, Georgia tonight. Quote, the best wrestling on the planet, Ring of Honor, will bring another great night of action to the Atlanta area on Saturday, January 23rd. We will be making our debut at the Infinity Energy Center with a 7:30 bell time, in addition to the hard-hitting, fast-paced professional wrestling that only Ring of Honor showcases. Fans in Duluth will have an opportunity to send off ROH legend and hometown star, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Now, to me, that's class.
Yep, absolutely. Ring of Honor is not being bitter and like, oh, WWE got one of our best guys. It's like, no, you know what? We're happy for your next step. We're happy that you get this huge opportunity, because, again, it's not all about one promotion, but we would be lying if we didn't say that WWE is top of the mountain, So I think it's awesome of ROH to recognize that and be like, hey, we're happy for one of our guys, and we're going to give him the proper send-off that he so rightfully deserves.
Well, and let's just go bottom line. Bottom line with most things is money, and right now the WWE is where the money is, and we know that AJ Styles has turned down big bucks several times from the WWE.
Absolutely. Because
of his morals, because of many different reasons, but for people to be upset with him for anything other than being better than their favorite wrestler or whatever is just hogwash, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. Like I said, you talk about WWE marks, and I've mentioned this numerous times on the podcast that I grew up as a WWE mark, but as of late I've been diving into everything from TNA to Lucha Underground to PWG. Like, I've been watching everything. I mean, ROH as well. And now I can appreciate all of that. And because of that, I may not be too familiar with AJ Styles, but with that being said, I still know what he's done for the business of professional wrestling as a whole, and he's regarded so highly amongst wrestling fans, and I think this is huge for WWE. Honestly, I think with him being signed and then someone else being signed that we'll talk about later, I feel like this is the shift that WWE needed, and I think this is kind of the clue of you know what, things are finally going to change, and we're going to get back to what's important.
Well, and not only his independent career, but he practically carried TNA on his shoulders for years and years and years. Now, there's other guys that did as well. I'm not saying it was all him, but he was the phenomenal one for years.
He earned that name for a reason,
Yeah, they didn't just hand that out, and it wouldn't have stuck if it didn't fit. That's certainly for sure. And that brings up another topic in with AJ Styles, and that is the dispute that's going on between, it's apparently more between his representative and TNA. TNA is claiming that they had a handshake agreement and actually a signed contract, not the final contract, but a signed contract for AJ to return to TNA and be a part of Impact Wrestling. And, of course, apparently that, nobody knows for sure except the parties involved exactly what happened, but the bottom line is it appears that that's not going to happen, and he is going to be in the WWE. And I can speak from a personal standpoint. I'm a TNA fan, and I'm a Dixie Carter fan. I believe she's a good woman. I believe she's a good Christian woman that tries to bring forth her Christian values. And I've interviewed AJ Styles. I've talked to him specifically about his Christian walk. This is a guy who carries a gaming system on the road with him so that he keeps himself out of trouble. So he's got something to do. That's the kind of a person we're talking about. And I know that because he told us that right on this podcast. And I don't think AJ Styles is the type of guy to make all of the commitment to the point where it is said that he did and then just back out.
Yeah, no, he doesn't seem like that type of guy at all. We've talked about it before, and you mentioned it today about how he has morals and, like you said, a strong belief system, and he's strong in his faith and whatnot. And it's like a man like that wouldn't lie and wouldn't be like, oh, I signed the contract, but by the way, I'm not going to abide to it. He just doesn't seem like that type of person.
And see, this is one of those situations where both sides might be right. They may have had some kind of an agreement. And I read what Trevor sent to us earlier from the representative, and it said that, you know, TNA was dragging their feet, and they knew that there was other people out there, and, you know, it's one of those things where maybe TNA thought they had everything under control, and they were a little bit sloppy with the way they went about it. And, you know, the bottom line is, at some point in time, everybody's got to look themselves in the mirror and say, what am I going to do? Am I going to do the right thing or not? And for him, he's at a point in his career where the older he gets, the less value he is money-wise for his family. And he's literally given up millions of dollars for his family already. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I was just going to say, I definitely agree, and I can understand, because he's already done so much as far as what you can do as a professional wrestler, you know, and like you said, he turned down WWE multiple times because of the morals that he had, or, you know, it just, the time wasn't right. But there's always a time where the time is right, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? And he was probably waiting for the right moment to be like, all right, now is the time to go to WWE. Like you mentioned, he is getting older. You know, the older you get, the less you wrestle, or the less you can wrestle anyway. And he's like, maybe this is the one thing I haven't done in my career, and I know that if I do this now, it's like now or never. And it's probably an opportunity that he couldn't turn down. He's like, this is going to be better for me, better for my family, better for the WWE as a whole, I believe, better for the wrestling community as a whole. So him going to the WWE, jumping ship, as people would say, it's going to do a lot more positive things as opposed to negative things.
And one of the positives is all the buzz around what's going to happen at the Royal Rumble.
It's crazy.
And I don't know. I'll give a spoiler here. I'm not picking AJ Styles to win the Rumble.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really pick him either when they asked me for predictions. I was like, I don't know if they would put him on. Like, I don't really know if, like, I could see him being a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion, absolutely, with, like, no shadow out of a doubt. But I feel like they wouldn't put it on him right away.
Well,
but I feel like they need him to be there just so everyone can mark the hell out and be like, oh my goodness, it's AJ Styles, you know?
But then again, would they? I mean, Vince has done crazier things than this.
This is true. Last year, Daniel Bryan wasn't even in the Royal Rumble. Still not over it.
And so I'm with you. I don't think that they're going to bring him in and the very first night put the WWE Championship around his waist. But there's this other side. I mean, it's like, you know, where you have an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, and the angel saying, yes, and the devil saying, no. And it's like, that's kind of how I feel right now, is that... And I guess that means I picked the devil's side on this because I picked no.
You picked the no, yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Like you said, you know, a lot of the times, and that's the thing about being a WWE fan, you kind of can guess what direction that they're headed in. You're like, this person's going to retain, this person's going to lose, and then they're like, how do you know? I'm like, because it makes sense for storylines. But now with AJ Styles being thrown into the element, you're just like, anything could happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be good. Like, even if he's, like, I don't know, I have a weird prediction that, not to jump ahead, but I have a weird prediction that he might be the 30th, entrant. And, like, even if he's there just for a little while, just that in itself would be an amazing moment that no one's going to forget. Everyone's going to remember, like, oh, I was here, January 25th 4th, 2016, watching the Royal Rumble when AJ Styles debuted in WWE. This is what I was doing. Like, it's going to be one of those moments.
Well, I mean, what if they... And we've always been kind of good at this, the what ifs and enjoying those things. And before I go on, as a foursome on the website, we're split on AJ winning. Trevor and John both predicted AJ was going to win. And that's all of the spoilers you get on our predictions. We'll do the predictions later in the show.
Yeah.
But
the rest of the stuff is a secret for now.
But I mean, what if he's not in the Rumble, but he comes in and beats the snot out of, or the Bullet Club comes in and beats the snot out of whoever wins the Rumble?
Like Roman Reigns or someone.
Right. I mean, what if the Bullet Club comes in and just annihilates, or even better, my pick, Brock Lesnar. What if the Bullet Club come in after Lesnar wins the Rumble and just beats him to a bloody pulp?
That would be amazing.
Oh man, you talk about marking out hard. I mean, there's so much with that. Finn Balor and the whole Bullet Club deal, and oh my goodness.
There's so much possibilities, man. It's crazy right now. Like, just thinking about it, and that's the thing. Like, we've talked about it before on this podcast. We talked about it prior to this podcast. There's been so many times where, like, whenever someone mentions WWE to me, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I watch it occasionally, but I haven't been super thrilled or super excited, with the exception of NXT, of course, because that stuff always gets me excited. But as far as, like, stuff that's happening on the main roster, I'm always kind of like, But, like, for the first time in a while, I'm excited for a pay-per-view. I'm excited to see what's going to happen because, like you said, who knows? Like, yeah, what if they beat up Brock Lesnar? What if they beat Roman Reigns up? Like, he doesn't even have to be in the Royal Rumble, but if he shows up, you better have your DVR ready because you are not going to want to miss it. And, I mean, you could always go back to WWE Network, of course, but you're not going to want to miss this moment. And anybody who, proclaims themselves as a WWE fan should not be missing the Royal Rumble because it's going to be good. It's going to be amazing.
The Rumble, I've said many times, is one of my probably top two, WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. Always have loved the Rumble. I never will forget, the Ultimate Warrior running down the way he always ran down, but he runs down into the Royal Rumble. And, of course, they've had their stupid moments as well.
Yep.
And I don't really like those, but I've attended a Royal Rumble in person.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's
2012, I was at the Royal Rumble in St. Louis, and it's just so entertaining because you just, even if you know somebody's going to be there, you don't know when they're going to be next.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, and then there's always those surprise entrants too, like, oh, someone came back, what? Or like sometimes you'll even get like a female into the Royal Rumble, and you're just like, what is this? What's happening? I'm so confused. So awesome.
And speaking of maybe spoilers from later, I mean, a couple of years ago, The Godfather comes down and is in the Royal Rumble, and he hadn't been in the ring for a while, and it just the year I was there, the New Age Outlaws came in, and
that's awesome.
When their music hits, they only have it's all short entrances, but their beginning of their music does hit, and they do come down to it, and you got the New Age Outlaws music hitting, and it's like, oh man, they may be older than they may be older than dirt, but we're gonna pop right now because here comes.
It's so funny because you say that, because even though like the whole entrance itself is short, but if you're a WWE fan, and if you've been a fan for as long as you and I have, like, you pretty much know everyone's entrance music at this point. So the minute it hits, you're like, it's that person! Oh my god! And then the whole, like, lead up to it, too. The whole, counting down to 10 all the way to 1. Like, it's such a fun experience, and I don't think, if you're not a wrestling fan, you won't get it. Like, it's like, why is everyone freaking out? It's just a countdown clock. But you're like, but no, that countdown clock has so much significance. It means the next person's coming out, and it can be anybody, so it's awesome.
Well, and I could be wrong about this, but there are very few eliminations that happen during the countdown music.
Yeah, hardly ever, because they know that they got to get you hyped up for that, so they don't want to like distract you from it.
And so the thing is, if AJ Styles comes, what music is it going to be?
I don't know.
And what if he was number 2?
Oh my god.
What if Reigns comes out? He's number 1, obviously. What if AJ's number 2?
That would be insane. That would be crazy. Just imagine, because let's be honest, I get it. A lot of people don't like Roman Reigns. Well, actually, I still don't get why, but whatever. For argument's sake, I'll just say that I understand why people don't like him. But just imagine like those two facing off, because I mean, let's be real. Roman Reigns is one of the bigger names in WWE, especially right now with like everybody getting injured and stuff like that. But he's one of the bigger names in WWE, and then AJ Styles is like one of the biggest names ever, not just in WWE, but ever. And like, just imagine those two like facing off, like staring at each other. Like, man, I just thinking about it is giving me goosebumps, and I'm excited. Like, I'm excited, and I feel good that I'm saying that, because usually when we do these podcasts, I'm like, okay, tomorrow's a wrestling pay-per-view. Like, I'll watch it, but I'm not enthusiastic about it, but I am this time, and that's how you know that WWE is doing something right.
Well, and think about other possibilities. Think about down the road when it's Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles, the kings of the independent circuits.
That match is gonna be gold. I'm not gonna want to move. like I can't go anywhere. Sorry, I have to watch this.
Yeah, and I bet you it would have to be probably a house show or something, but they could go 60 minutes.
They could. Because they're that good.
Yeah, I mean that's what their life has been.
Yeah.
Going 30 to 60 minute matches for forever. And so.
And it's crazy because I also thought of another possibility. I think like What Culture is the one that, it's a YouTube channel. His name's Adam. I think he was the one that brought it up. Or no, it wasn't him. I lied. It was Busted Open. They brought up the idea of possibly Finn Balor turning heel eventually one day and having Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. I mean, just that alone, like, Bullet Club members would be losing their minds. Like, they'd be like, oh, this is happening. This is a real thing. And just, just imagining their entrances and the lead up and the trash talk towards it. Like, it's, just thinking about it is like, can we have that, please? Well, I want to be a writer for WWE and make that happen.
And that's not a far stretch, because before he left New Japan, the Bullet Club turned on him, and they basically sent him out with a good butt kicking.
And it was all because they're like, great, you're leaving us for WWE. Obviously, that had to. I mean, like, obviously they're not mad at him because they're probably really happy for him in real life, but to add to that story, they're gonna make it like you kind of betrayed us and you left us for the big boys and you're a sellout and la da 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 da. Like, I could just see it, I could hear it now. It makes perfect sense.
Well, and this next Did we forget anything about AJ Styles? There was so much to talk about on him.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered everything except for the fact that, we said it, but I'll say it again. He's amazing, and I'm extremely happy for him and this opportunity that he's gonna get and that he has now. And like I said, I really do think that him being in the WWE is gonna change the landscape, and it's gonna get serious again. I think it's gonna become enjoyable again, and we're not going to want to miss a Raw, or we're not going to want to miss a SmackDown. We're actually going to be like, no, I have to be home, I have to watch it. And it's been a while since wrestling for the WWE's been like that.
And he's supposed to appear both on Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, man. This is going to be awesome.
And in addition to that,
I know what's next.
TNA may be going into depression.
Yeah, but they're losing everyone.
Well, it's not. But the thing is, it's not people they've had recently. It's people they've had in the past. And let's listen to this soundbite. You may not be able to hear it, Vanessa.
Okay, that's fine.
Bringing to you the absolute best and most talented competitors from around the world. And I am extremely excited to introduce to you one of our greatest signings to date.
All right, well, that was Austin Aries being introduced in his debut in where, Vanessa?
It was in NXT.
Oh, my gosh.
It was NXT. Just got better. I didn't even think that was freaking possible, but Jesus. Like, they're lining them up like crazy, man. When I heard about that, I was like, wait, what? Really? No, this is amazing. Like, that was my legit reaction. I'm thrilled because I will be the first one to admit I am a TNA. I'm not TNA. Well, TNA too, but I am an NXT like junkie. Like, that's my thing. That's my favorite thing. Every Wednesday, I haven't been able to really watch it lately because I didn't have internet for a while and all these other things. But NXT is like my thing. I know it's only an hour show, but I'm like, it's Wednesday now. Like, yay! I get to watch NXT. And the fact that someone so well known as Austin Aries and someone of his caliber is on that brand now, so to speak. Like, it just got so much better. And like I said, I didn't think that was possible. But man, things are getting shaken up. And like Triple H said, he just wants to keep bringing the best. And it's the beginning of 2016. And I think in a tweet he said we're just getting started. And I'm like, oh boy. Who else do you got back there, Well,
you know what it does when he brings in people like Austin Aries, it gears everything else up a notch. Mm-hmm. Because you got the guys that are maybe lower tier that maybe wish they could have moved up, and they got to do one of two things. Either they got to kick it in gear and take it up a notch, or they're going to go home.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Like, even though NXT continues to push that envelope, and even though every week they literally deliver a stellar show. I mean, heck, even when it's an award show, that thing is amazing. And that's the thing about NXT. Like, yeah, they're great no matter what. But at the same time, what I love about Triple H is that he's not content with NXT. Like, he is, but what I mean by that is he's not, like, slacking and saying, you know what, NXT is already amazing. It's already better than the main roster. It's already better than a lot of wrestling companies that are here right now. But just because of that, I'm not going to get lazy and keep producing the same old thing over and over again, knowing that no matter what, fans are still going to watch because that's how damn good it is. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm still going to freaking keep bringing all these, like, top tier names and just keep surprising people. And that's what I love about Hunter. That is something that Vince needs to learn. Stop being comfortable. Keep pushing that envelope.
Well, and you can see based off of Vince actually getting involved lately that he's had to come to grips with. You can't just be comfortable sitting back behind the stage putting out an inferior product, and he's had to help rescue the company from the worst ratings in 20-some years.
That's crazy. It's like he shows up and then all of a sudden everybody cares, and it's like, you see, Vince, these are the kind of things you need to be doing each and every week. Yeah, sure, it doesn't have to involve you, but add that shock value. Add that value of, oh my God, this just happened. Now what does it mean for this person or that person? And then it draws you in and makes you want to tune in next week.
And again, like with the AJ Styles thing, we've got guys coming in that are already seasoned veterans that know what to do. Mm-hmm. You got him and Aries, and then you got some of the Bullet Club guys coming in a little bit later on. Who knows if it's later on or not?
It could be all on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, right? We don't know, and that's one of the best things for wrestling is not knowing.
Yep, absolutely. Like, that's the thing. I think we mentioned it. I talked to Trevor about it. I think it was yesterday when I think it was about the Austin Aries debuting because technically that episode hasn't aired yet, and I'm just like, man, I kind of hate spoilers. Like, I hate spoilers with anything. I hate spoilers with, like, TV shows and books and movies and especially my wrestling. Like, I try so hard to stay away from them because I don't like them. Like, it takes away that element of surprise. But Trevor reminded me, and he's absolutely correct, that, like, this is the day and age that we live in. Things are going to get spoiled. And maybe, his NXT debut got spoiled or whatever, and maybe even AJ Styles showing up at Royal Rumble, maybe even that in itself could be a spoiler. But it's so cool because with this situation and these two guys coming into this company, even though their debuts were spoiled, what they're going to do with them, we don't know. And that's what's making us so excited because we don't really know how it's going to pan out. And that's why we're going to be watching on Sunday, and that's why we're talking about it right now because we don't know.
Well, and the other thing is that the term spoiler doesn't mean that it has to spoil it for you. Spoiler means that you know in advance. So it spoiled the shock, but that doesn't mean it has to spoil the entire moment. And
exactly.
But still, even when there's been different times. We knew Sting was coming. And still,
when it happened, everyone went insane.
Yeah, everyone went. I mean, I see when they did his Hall of Fame promo, and I still have to have one of those red full-length jackets that he wears now.
Because you're like, it's mine, I want it, yeah.
That's what I need one of those. I need one of those.
You're like, no, it's not even a want at this point. It's a necessity. I need it.
And so, we got AJ coming in. We've got Aries coming in, and I hate to break up the momentum with a down moment.
Yeah.
But it was this week that we learned of the passing of a person who I read. Do you remember Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton called the Fantastics?
Yeah, I remember the name. Like, I remember the name vaguely, probably because of my brothers, but I don't think I ever got to watch them do their thing. I mean, there's YouTube and there's WWE Network now, and I should get on that, but I do know the name, yes.
Well, Bobby Fulton, I got to meet a couple months ago at the local indie event, and I follow him on Facebook. We're Facebook friends. And he had something great, talking about the people like Iron Mike Sharp, the ones that didn't get the belts put on them, didn't get that kind of hype, but they were the ones who built up the Bob Backlunds and people like that, helped them be who they were. And I really should have saved that and read it, because he had a really good tribute to Iron Mike Sharp. But former WWE star and second-generation talent Iron Mike Sharp passed at the age of 64 this past weekend in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Wow. Sharp was reportedly found in his apartment and has been battling several health issues of late. Sharp was billed as Canada's
That's a new word.
Canada's greatest athlete in WWE during the 1980s. His last televised match came on June the 6th, 1995, a tag team loss to the Smoking Guns.
Yeah, see, and I know that name too, the Smoking Guns. In 1995, I was like 4 when that happened, so I was probably just starting to watch wrestling at that point, yeah.
WWE issued this statement on his passing. WWE is saddened to learn that Michael Sharp, known to WWE fans as Iron Mike Sharp, has passed away at age 64. Long before Iron Mike Tyson entered the boxing ring, self-proclaimed Canada's greatest athlete, Iron Mike Sharp, was battering opponents in the wrestling ring.
That's awesome.
A second-generation superstar whose father and uncle both competed in sports entertainment, Hamilton, Ontario Sharp was a champion in his native country, as well as several regional American territories in the United States. Managed by one of the greatest names of managers ever, Captain Lou Albano, who is also a Hall of Famer. Sharp used the mysterious and often loaded black brace on his right forearm to defeat opponent after opponent while simultaneously berating them.
That's awesome.
He was something else with that. I mean, he would talk the crap the whole match at the people he was beating up, and then he'd load up that leather armband, and there they went. To finish, Sharp's winning ways were enough to earn him a WWE Championship match against champion Bob Backlund in Philadelphia in April of 1983, a mere 4 months after his WWE debut. So it's not new that people went right to the top after they got there. Like so many others, Sharp was unsuccessful in defeating Backlund. Sharp then regularly competed both on and off for both WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And again, his final match was against Billy and Bart, the Smoking Guns. Following his retirement, Sharp had a school in Brick, New Jersey, where he trained many aspiring competitors. His students included former WWE superstars Charlie Haas and Simon Dean, also known as ECW's Nova, as well as WCW superstar Crowbar. WWE extends its condolences to Sharp's family, friends, and fans. And see, I remember Sharp when he was part of Memphis Wrestling. And, you know, when you got people who are trash talking and all of that nonstop in those little studios that they would film in for the Saturday show to prepare for all of the stadium shows for that week. I mean, you could just hear him talking nonstop, and you think you can beat Canada's greatest athlete, and boom, hit him with the forearm, and
that's the greatest way to get heel heat right there. Just talk trash and beat someone up.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He talked trash and beat people up, and I see. This is why he was such a good heel. I couldn't stand him.
Yep, and that's what heels are supposed to make you do. They're supposed to make their skin crawl and like oh, I hate you.
He'd walk out to do an interview, and usually what would happen would be the Lance Russell and Dave Brown, the two announcers, would already be standing there, and they'd say, "Oh well, we got an interview coming out," and they played some music back then, but not a lot. So he'd walk, or whoever would walk out and walk across, and you'd kind of see him go across the camera, and oh man, it's Mike Sharp. Daggone it. I don't want to listen to him. And then the first thing he'd do would be look over at the fans and tell them to shut up or something. And
that's awesome. Yeah, that's another great way to get heel heat. Tell the fans to shut up. Nothing like disrespecting the people that paid to see you. Yeah, you, shut your mouth.
And I hate losing the people who paved the way. And I really enjoy when people give those kind of folks their dues, because this wasn't John Cena, and this wasn't, The Undertaker, guys who won title after title after title. This was more of Dolph Ziggler, guys who's putting people over. And I'm not saying that Cena doesn't put people over, but you get where I'm coming from.
More of what they do. Yeah, no, like a Chris Jericho. Like they love the business, and they come back and they do what they need to do for the future of the company, and they don't really. And this is not saying that John Cena is all about ego or whatever, but they don't necessarily care about their ego. They don't care about really holding the championship, and that's great because you aspire to be that. But at the end of the day, what matters to them is putting on good shows, putting on good matches, and then knowing that, hey, when they leave the company, when their time is done, that someone else is going to be able to carry it.
Well, let's see. We talked about spoilers, and they kind of had an ultimate spoiler in that a list of Hall of Famers, probably not all of the class of 2016, was leaked, quote unquote. I don't know if you and Trevor talked about it. Trevor and I talked, and we're both kind of under the impression that maybe, just maybe, it was one of those unofficial leaks.
Oh, okay.
Where it might not be such a bad thing if this gets leaked out early, especially with WrestleMania being in Texas and all of the Texas inductees. And I debated on whether to do this or not because I didn't get total permission for this. Actually, I didn't get permission at all, really.
You're being a rebel today.
I'm going to be a rebel, but this one is for you, Vanessa.
Awesome.
This one is for you.
Championship. And I'm here tonight to see if anyone at all has accepted that challenge. Because tonight, it's Chavo Guerrero versus the world.
So who's it going to be?
I don't know. I'll tell you, that's a real tough move, a big-time move on Chavo's part. Confident move to put his title on the line against anybody.
Well, he has been a great cruiserweight champion.
Who is it? Hold on.
Who is this? Wait,
What the hell?
that's Jacqueline.
There's got to be a mistake here.
And making her way to the ring, Jacqueline.
Mistake.
Okay, let's go back. I think we probably had some dead air there. Let's go back to where we were at with you not knowing who the soundbite was about, because I actually had us muted so that we could try to hear that. We are talking about Jacqueline and the excitement you have over her being inducted.
I'm so thrilled. I mean, it's funny because, like, I am all about, like, women's professional wrestling, and, you know, when Trish got inducted, I was happy. When Lita got inducted, I probably lost my mind more than I should have. And now, like, Jacqueline's getting inducted, and it's so well deserved. And I know, like, I don't know, like, to me, I don't want to say she's underrated because that's a weird word, but I feel like she kind of, like, gets lost in the shuffle of, like, the iconic women that have been in the WWE. But no, she did some amazing things. Cruiserweight champion, beating Chavo Guerrero, you know, had a street fight with Lita once upon a time. Like, she just was doing a bunch of crazy, cool stuff, and she was someone that you would not want to mess with. Like, I would not want to get her mad, you know what I mean? And it's so cool for me because I had the honor of seeing her live, like, in, I don't know, I want to say it was like 2003-ish, maybe earlier. I don't remember, but it was the time when she was the Cruiserweight champion because she was defending it against Chavo Guerrero and then Chavo Guerrero Sr. And I remember thinking, like, is this actually happening? Like, are we watching this right now? And it was the coolest thing ever to be there live for. And I'm just so happy that she's in the Hall of Fame. And the fact that she's from Texas, it's even more amazing. And I mean, I haven't seen her in a while, so the fact that I get to see her again, like, come the ceremony, I'm just gonna be, like, marking out.
Well, I am going to I'm going to put on some background music as we talk about this. You won't hear it, so we'll just keep talking as we normally would.
Okay.
The background music is the entrance music for another group of Hall of Famers. This one I am totally stoked about because, first of all, I love their entrance music, and we're going to get that playing in the background here. At least I think we are.
You're like, come on now, technical difficulties.
No.
This is what happens when you go live.
No technical difficulties here. I've got it.
Yay!
And we're going to play in the background. Whoa. My screen just went white. Okay. Trevor can let me know if that music is playing in the background. And we're talking about the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah,
and their music.
I knew it was coming.
Bad Street, USA. And all I can think about is Michael P.S. Hayes coming out with a long robe on, strutting and you know, cocking his head like a rooster, basically, the whole way, the whole time, flipping his hair back and forth, and you know, then you got the other members of the Freebirds, and you know, Terry Gordy, Jimmy Jam Garvin, the others that were in and out, but you know, they were in some epic battles with the Von Erichs that I really, to watch, would have to go on to YouTube and see them, but then they came to WCW and had some big time battles there, and it oh man, trust me, when they come out to their music, it's going to be something. And back in the day, you know, there's those guys that can talk, and there's guys that probably ought to just stay away from the mic. And Michael P.S. Hayes was one of those guys that could take a mic and just make magic happen.
That's a rarity too. Like, you can't. Honestly, to me, I feel like mic work, you can't be taught that. It's like either you have it or you don't. Like, yeah, you can go to classes to improve it or whatever, but it's only so often when it comes so naturally the way he had it, you know?
And you know, with all of his behind the scenes work that he continues with and everything, I mean, there's times where he takes a lot of heat, but I tell you what, there were tag teams back in the day where they just would annihilate everybody, and then they'd get in against somebody that was as equally good as they were and would have epic battles, and that's what the Fabulous Freebirds did. If they got against somebody that didn't stand up to them talent-wise, they would just wipe them off the face of the earth. I mean, they would just mop the ring with them.
Just like annihilate them. Be like, one and done. You're over with.
And you know, I think of tag teams. Back then, WCW had lots of, you know, the Russians that they had, where they had Ivan Koloff and Nikita Khrushchev. Nikolai Koloff, Nikita Khrushchev. That was a real Russian. And when I say real Russian, that's because
yeah.
some of them had fake Russian names. Not that they would ever do that in wrestling.
Never. No. not at all. You know, and then sometimes with their accents slip every now and then too. You're like, oh, oops.
But well, I mean, even into the WWE, like the Sheep Herders, and they weren't called the Sheep Herders in the WWE. They were called the Bushwhackers. And you know, it's not like now where the tag team division is so spread out and fairly well even. There would always be some dominant few tag teams. You know, the Steiner brothers, in their day, that not too many people beat the Steiner brothers, and that's the Freebirds. Now we've got Jacqueline, we've got the Freebirds, we've got a celebrity. They have a celebrity every year, and who is this year's celebrity?
Oh, I don't even remember. You
Uh-oh.
on the spot.
I put you on the spot, Regis
Put
Philbin.
me on the spot. Oh no.
Regis.
Oh yeah, Regis Philbin. No, that's right. Because I remember when I watched the leaked video, they were like, Regis Philbin, why? I don't get it. I was so confused.
Well, that leaked video was so funny. It's like, what did he do? He let John Cena be on his show 17 times or something.
yeah, exactly. It was like, oh, he's had WWE superstars on his talk show. I guess that counts for something. That's right. That's probably why I didn't remember, because it was so left field. I was like, wait, what? Why? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say something. Maybe it's too soon. Maybe there's some reasoning behind it. But I was legitimately thinking the celebrity for this Hall of Fame was gonna be Lemmy of Motorhead. I was like, yeah, that's gonna be the celebrity this year. I'm convinced it has to happen, and it did it. And I'm like, but why? So I'm just like, I don't know. I was confused.
And I don't know. Maybe it's one of those rich New England things, because Trump is in there, and Vince kind of fits in with that crowd apparently, and.
Kind of makes me sad that Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. Like, before I didn't care, but now I'm just like, really?
Well,
like, this sucks.
Yeah, we'll be careful, Trevor. We promise we won't go into politics.
I was just about to say, yeah, we won't get into politics, but geez, can we take him out of the Hall of Fame? Like, is there a way to like get disqualified from it? Because I don't like that he's in it. I didn't care before, but I do now.
And Trevor reminded me that I can get the matches between the Fabulous Freebirds and the Von Erichs
WWE Network.
On the WWE Network. We ought to get at least a little bit of commission off of.
We really should.
Some of that.
I mean, people should be listening to this. I really do hope that like one day someone's listening, like with the powers that be in the WWE, and they're like, that's a really good idea. Let's use that. Like, yeah. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. Now let me explain what Vanessa just said, so that nobody mistakes what she said. She said, I really wish somebody was listening. And there's lots of people that listen, but there's not.
We love you guys.
Yeah, there's just not lots of people that listen that have the power to make sure that we get something in return for what it is that we do. And so I just wanted to clarify that, so that.
Yes, I didn't mean to throw our fans under the bus. I love you guys.
Especially after
you guys are great.
The story you told us on Facebook earlier about certain people, and.
Oh yeah, I know. Seriously,
so
I'm not helping myself right now. That's
we
funny.
do have lots of people that come and listen to this show, and
we appreciate every single one of you.
That's right, we do. Next on the list is, I believe, a very deserving person. I think he was probably rewarded for his loyalty to Vince. And that would be JBL.
Yeah, I feel like this is overdue, to be completely honest, but the fact that it's in Texas this year, it makes sense. It's kind of like about time, because I feel that way. And I'm really thrilled to see him go in there as well. I'm super excited about it.
And then we mentioned earlier from a Royal Rumble a couple years ago, there was a certain Godfather that was in, who is now going to be a part of the Hall of Fame. And whether you like the Godfather, if you can't stand the Godfather,
I think he's awesome.
Whatever you think about the Godfather, he has some of the lines that people still use. I still tell people that pimping ain't easy.
Yes.
I mean,
See, I love that. Oh, it's funny.
I'm going to guess that I've come close to probably saying that from the pulpit. And probably had to catch myself from saying pimping ain't
yeah, and
easy.
if you would have said it, everybody would have like, what's wrong with him? And then you'd be like, I'm just a wrestling mark, okay?
Yeah, some wrestling mark in the crowd would have probably stood up and said, yes!
Like, I understand what you mean. That's funny. That's great.
But
did they say who he's going in as? Did they say? Because I don't remember if they said for sure like who he's going in as. Because I mean, he wasn't only the Godfather, but he was Papa Shango as well. So it's like, did they say or no?
No, well, it was a leaked video, so they didn't have all of the details.
Because I wonder.
I'm thinking he's got to go in as the Godfather.
I agree, yeah, because that persona was more well-known and more over than Papa Shango was. So.
Well, and I think they'll certainly make mention of... Well, I mean, he had 3 or 4 different characters.
Yeah.
The Good Father and the Godfather.
The Good Father, oh jeez. Oh yeah, the Good Father. I forgot about that one though, because it was so brief. But yeah, came in with a little like white button-up shirt and a tie. Had his hair all nice. I do remember that now. Oh, I forgot about that. But yeah, that was the thing.
And a lot of people think that it's not actually going to be Sting that headlines the Hall of Fame inductions. A lot of people...
Yeah, I've heard people talking about that too.
So what do you think? Share that with our fans and tell me what you think.
Yeah, I've heard people throw out another big name, the Phenom, Undertaker, because he's a Texas boy, and I mean, he deserves to be in there. It's well overdue, I mean, come on, guys. They say the full list isn't out yet, and I think maybe Sting is one of the headliners if everyone's assumptions are correctly. Because I feel like Hall of Fame tickets, they just went on sale like I think a week ago, or maybe they go on sale. I forgot which one it was, but I feel like they needed to give you one huge name so that way people could be like, that's worth buying a ticket for. But I mean, if Sting is the headliner, I'm not gonna have any bones about it. I will accept it. But I mean, if it's the Undertaker, I really hope it is. Cough, cough. That's gonna be huge, and I will probably end up crying because he's kind of someone that I grew up with. I mean, he made his debut the year that I was born, literally like a month after I was born. So I mean, and then I started watching when I was 3 or 4. So I mean, I grew up with this guy. My brothers loved him, and he's one of the reasons why I love wrestling, aside from the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man Randy Savage.
And see, you're making me so old.
You're like, geez.
I remember the Undertaker when he was Mean Mark Callis.
Yeah. See, I don't remember that, but I do know that was a thing.
I mean, that was before anything. That was down in Memphis when he came through with it may have been Sid Vicious. It was his partner. Him and another they were the Twin Towers or something like that. Yeah. And Mean Mark Callis was one of those two. And I mean, then you watch him, and the next thing you know, there he is coming out as the Undertaker, and I watched a lot of people do that, but I can't tell you that I've watched a lot of people do that and have the success that the Undertaker had.
That he's been able to have, absolutely.
Watch him from before his time of real fame to come in and debut, like you said, the way he did, and then just continue it on. I mean, to where he can still headline a WrestleMania.
Yep, and people will still buy a ticket if he's the headliner. people care about this guy. People are invested in this guy. He's just like I don't see. I've never heard of one wrestling fan or one WWE fan, if you want to, go that far, say that they don't like The Undertaker. Like, if they do, you're like, wait, what's wrong with you? Like, are you sure?
I mean, you think about all the memories through the years. I always think about his hand coming through in a Buried Alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
or how about the time when the casket was lit on fire and Kane thought, he finally killed his brother, but then they show the inside of the casket and his head just turns and it's like, oh, he's alive, he's not dead. Like,
and then there was the highly controversial one with Stephanie McMahon, and I mean.
Oh yeah. See, but that was controversial. But is it weird that I like that? I was like, oh my goodness.
Well,
awesome.
Probably more controversial at the time it happened than it would be now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, well, never mind. I ain't going to say what I was going to say. I was
going to go way in deep into
yeah.
this conversation.
I was going to be sarcastic in a way I didn't need to be sarcastic, so I'll hold that one in. Because I love The Undertaker. I didn't necessarily care for that storyline, but I don't hold that against him at all. And
WWE did some weird things back in the day. So.
And he performed it amazingly, so
yeah.
He was... Well, man, we still got loads of stuff to talk about, Vanessa. I think we got all of the leaked names, though, into the Hall of Fame. Jim Ross is in the news.
That's when you know that things are going good. When Jim Ross is in the news, you know there's so much happening.
Well, Jim Ross is in the news, and we've been on for an hour and 7 minutes, and we're just now getting to it.
That's how you know there's so much stuff going on.
It was announced Tuesday that WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross will be doing play-by-play for New Japan Pro Wrestling on AXS TV, alongside New Japan Wrestling veteran and former UFC star Josh Barnett, beginning March the 4th. That makes me
so happy. You have no idea how happy that makes me.
So you get the best of both worlds then.
I really do get the best of both worlds, and it's funny because JR, he's one of the best color commentators. Now, not one of the best, in my opinion, the best color commentator ever.
I agree.
He's, to me, he's the voice of WWE, not Michael Cole. I get that. Michael Cole is like self-professed voice of WWE, and he may be the one doing it now. But to me, JR will always be the voice of WWE, and not only that, but you have Josh Barnett. And Josh Barnett is an amazing, MMA fighter, an amazing wrestler. He's wrestled in Japan. He knows a lot about wrestling. In fact, I was talking to him this week about wrestling, so it's pretty cool to know, in a way, I've gotten to know Josh Barnett in ways that a lot of people wouldn't have the opportunity to know him the way I do, I guess. And the fact that two people that I love dearly are going to be on the same commentary team is just match made in heaven. Nessa is going crazy. Nessa is marking out right now. That's what's happening.
Well, Ross was able to take this position because the travel is not extensive. He's going to be going, he said, won't be weekly, but approximately 8 to 10 trips to Los Angeles in a year's time. While there in a 2-day voiceover session, we will hammer out up to 6 shows. I'm happy Oklahoma City now has nonstop flights to LAX.
That's awesome. Yeah. That works to his benefit for sure.
He also said, for me, the New Japan Pro Wrestling business philosophy reminds me of my earlier years in wrestling. I've had numerous other offers, some serious and others just flirting to return to TV wrestling broadcasting, but none have had the appeal that AXS TV offered.
That's awesome.
And
see, that just makes me happy. The fact that he's going to be back in the commentary booth, it's right where he belongs. Don't get me wrong, his podcast is amazing. Everything else he does is amazing. But it's he deserves and belongs to be in a like in a commentary booth, and the fact that he's gonna be back is just like, man, like if it was just him by himself, I'd watch it. I'd
Right.
listen to him talk all day, you know. But like Josh Barnett being there is like a little added incentive. Like, oh, two people that are good at what they do and that have a undying love for the business. Like, yeah, okay, Josh is in the UFC right now and he's a fighter, but he also loves professional wrestling, and JR loves professional wrestling. So, I'm telling you, like, that duo it's gonna be fantastic. Like, I have no complaints whatsoever.
Well, one of the things I really liked about what I read, and he said, I'm very excited about this opportunity to get off the bench and get back in the game. My tank is far from empty.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
that makes me so happy.
You know, one of the things that bother me in sports in general is people that hang around too long and don't know when to retire.
Overstaying their welcome.
And, you know, if he was just coming back and just going through the motions and just drawing a paycheck or whatever, then that would sadden me. But having listened to him last year at Wrestle Kingdom 9, and he's still good old JR. I mean, he's not just,
He still has that flame. He still has it.
he's not just earning a paycheck, that's for sure, and so that's good for professional wrestling in general.
We need to get those "you still got it" clap 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 chants for JR.
There you
for his commentary.
Well, I don't know which way to go next. There's
so much stuff.
Let's talk about. Let me just go down through Raw, and I'll give the highlights, and then you can give me what stood out for you. Okay?
Okay, for sure. Sounds good to me.
Roman Reigns defeated Rusev with Chris Jericho as the referee. Natalya and Paige returned to TV. Natalya, with Paige in her corner, defeated Brie Bella. Big Show knocked out all four of the Social Outcast. That was...
That's funny.
That makes me wonder. I mean, I think at one point it seems like they're trying to give them a little traction, and then the next thing you know, the Big Show comes out and destroys all four of them. So
it's like, oh, there goes your traction. There goes it. It's over as quick as it started. Goodbye.
Vince and Stephanie had a quote-unquote drawing for the number one entrant into the Royal Rumble match.
Oh, that was funny.
Every time they drew out a name, it said Roman Reigns. So Roman is number one. Becky Lynch defeated Tamina. And I liked that match. It was a good one. The New Day held a funeral for Xavier Woods' trombone Francesca.
That was so sad.
That Chris Jericho broke last week. How dare he? And then
how dare you do that?
Chris Jericho had the highlight reel with guests Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. So what stood out to you in Raw this week?
Francesca dying. No, I'm just kidding. That's not all that stood out. I think the whole Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, because I mean, there's these two huge guys, and it's like Brock Lesnar's like, I'm better than you. Roman Reigns is like, no, I'm the big guy. You know, I mean, it's just funny because like Brock Lesnar, you know, I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of Brock Lesnar. The only thing that I like about Brock Lesnar is Paul Heyman. But the fact that like these two combustible elements, as far as like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar being in the same ring, and then them like, you know, beating each other up, and then like the Wyatt family showing up, like where did that come from? Okay, Brock Lesnar getting beat down by them. I don't get it, but I'll take it. I'm not angry with it, but I mean, I don't necessarily know if like if that means like Brock Lesnar might win the Royal Rumble, but I mean, it stood out to me because it left a lot of open possibilities. Is he gonna feud with Roman next to get his title back? Is he? I mean, because technically he never really lost it. I mean, he did, but it was a cash-in. So, and then you know, is he gonna feud with the Wyatts? Or so that's why that stood out to me most, because it's like different possibilities just from the ending of that Raw. And then I have to be biased a little bit and say the Becky Lynch and Tamina match, because then afterwards, obviously Becky Lynch gets a title shot now, and I'm like, finally! Like, this is what I've been waiting for like a while now. Matter of fact, I won't lie, and this is nothing against Charlotte, because I love Charlotte. I love all the 4 Horsewomen, MMA and WWE. I should just say that, throw it out there. But you know, like, I've always loved Becky, and when they made it to the main roster, and when they made Charlotte the champion, I was like, no, but I wanted Becky to be champion first, because she never got her shot in NXT. Like, I mean, she had title shots, but she never got the whole NXT gold. So I was like, make her the champion. But they went with Charlotte, and you know, now Charlotte taking the page out of her father's book and being the dirtiest player in the game or whatever. Like, I guess she's built out of the hill now, and so Becky's the face. And I really want to see where this goes. And like I said, it's another open possibility. So those 2 things, I gotta say, like, stood out the most to me. And of course, Francesca dying was sad. I cried. It was horrible.
my wife said, do people not realize that a slide trombone that slides out, and it was just fun. You just had to kind of be there to...
Yeah, you just know. I get it. I'm laughing right now. Like, my cheeks are red, because it's like, I can't believe I just even said that. But yeah, it was sad. The funeral, the eulogy. I was like, oh no, her life was so short, you guys. But
he could be like the Bionic Man and be replaced by another slide, and
yes.
Never mind. Well, this could go.
This could go on for hours.
Yeah,
it really could. Oh man.
They could bring in his cousin, the number 3 chair slide trombone. And
oh, boy.
Let's go to Royal Rumble predictions.
Okay, because it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. And
on the WWE Network for $9.99.
Unless you were stupid and paying for it somewhere else for $54.
Yeah, right? Tell me about it. I remember I used to pay, like, $45, $54 for pay-per-views, and now I'm just like, oh, I just pay $9.99 a month. No big deal for me.
And the pay-per-view companies have to hate Vince McMahon.
Yeah, they're like, damn you.
I mean, I know they still get it from some, but the WWE does them monthly. Mm-hmm. They were counting on a good paycheck from the WWE every month.
And now they get nothing.
All right, well, we got the 30-man Royal Rumble. We've already told you that both of us chose somebody other than AJ Styles. So John chose AJ. Trevor chose AJ. Who did you choose, Vanessa?
I said that I would think that Roman Reigns is going to win just because they're billing it as like the one versus all thing, and I really do feel like they're trying to give him his time that he deserves, because I mean, he doesn't get a lot of love from the crowd, but he's worked his butt off, and I don't think it would be right for them to take the title away from him that soon. And then so I said Roman Reigns, but then I also said I had a wild card pick, just because we've been hearing rumors flying around that he got medically cleared and that he was seen by WWE doctors and things like that. And the guy that I'm talking about is Daniel Bryan, just because, I don't know, he wasn't even in the Royal Rumble last year. People still cheer for him when he's not even on the show. So if he comes back, they are going to mark out like nobody's business. And like, it's going to be amazing. And even if he doesn't, like, stop. Even if he does, sorry, my roommate's being weird. But even if he doesn't win, I could see him showing up at the Royal Rumble. But yeah, my wild pick is Daniel Bryan.
And I picked Brock Lesnar. And you know that I just have to be picking because it's certainly not who I want to win the Royal Rumble.
you're just like, no, Brock Lesnar, no! Yeah, because we all know the last time he had the title, he sat at home and hardly defended it.
Well, I mean, he could win it at the Rumble and sit home until WrestleMania. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's even in it would make sense for him to win it just because he's such a big name, you know. So I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if he won.
See, I want to happen what I mentioned earlier. I want him to win, and then I want the Bullet Club to come out and just beat him to a pulp, make him look like a baby.
Make him look like a big baby. Like, oh, that you thought you were.
Yeah, beat him down so much that they put a baby bonnet and a pacifier in his mouth.
No, I would love that, and a big diaper.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be. Could you imagine Brock Lesnar wearing a big diaper? Come on, guys, that would be a good picture.
Can you blame? If somehow Brock Lesnar heard us talking about this,
Oh man!
and
we would be in trouble.
I'd have to bring my heavy artillery out.
See, but I would. You would have to bring your heavy artillery, and I would just have to make a few, 3, 4, 5 phone calls to my MMA fighters that I know. Be like, I might have done something bad. I need your help.
So let's go with the Divas Championship. Let me see. John picked. I keep scrolling too far. John picked Becky. Trevor picked Becky. I picked Becky. And you picked.
I picked Becky too, so we're 4 for 4 on this one.
We all agreed on something, ain't that?
We all agreed on this one. I just think it's her time. I really do. She deserves it. I know people are probably thinking, what do you mean her time? She's only been in WWE for a little while. Yeah, but if you've been watching NXT, you would know that she's been through freaking some crazy stuff and like always getting backstabbed by her friends, and she had her run as a heel with Sasha Banks, and then she became a face, and she's been trained by Finn Balor. I mean, this girl has been wrestling since she was really, really young, and she's been on the indies like crazy, traveling all over the world. Not too many people know that, but it is what it is, and she deserves that title around her waist. I mean, I don't think to be honest, like, the butterfly doesn't fit her aesthetic, but hey, it's a championship, so I'm not gonna complain.
All right, exactly. In the Intercontinental Championship last man standing match, John picks Dean Ambrose. Mm-hmm. Trevor picks Dean Ambrose. I pick Dean Ambrose, and I
picked Dean Ambrose. We're 4 for 4 again.
2 matches in a row, and
I know, this is so weird. It never happens this way. I gotta go with Dean just because. I mean, when Kevin Owens lost, I won't lie, I was a little bit like, I was a little bit upset because I prefer Owens over Ambrose just for my own personal reasons. But I feel like the WWE knows how over Ambrose is, and I'm not saying that Owens isn't over because he's over like wildfire too, but they've tried so many things with Ambrose. He was like, the longest reigning U.S. champion of like this generation, and like, we thought that he would have the WWE title, but it didn't happen, and he had this, like, he played hot potato with the Intercontinental title for a while, and like now he actually has it. And I think fans are happy about it, and I think WWE knows that. So they're like, let's not upset our fans, and let's give this guy that's worked his ass off in the past 3-4 years with the Shield and everything, like, let's give him a title that is prestigious, and let's keep it on him for a while.
And to be honest, he'll do anything. I mean,
he will do anything. He's not called the lunatic friend for nothing.
No, I mean, that is a well-deserved nickname.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
we've got the New Day taking on the Usos for the tag titles. Let's see. John picks New Day to retain. Trevor picks New Day to retain. I went against the grain on this one and picked the Usos.
See? There we go. We messed up the juju. The streak has been broken. No, I picked New Day to retain as well. Just because, I don't know, like, I feel like they're over in the weirdest way possible. Like, they shouldn't be over, but they are. Like, whatever they're doing shouldn't work.
Right.
Like, it is so, like, it's so stupid, and it's so ridiculous, like, with their unicorn little headbands, and, like, their stupid dances that they do. And, I mean, they had a funeral for a freaking trumpet. It's like, wait, what? Or trombone or whatever, but, like, how does that work? It shouldn't work. It should be, like, things that wrestling fans are booing and, like, you know, gagging at. But it works for some reason. Like, people love it. People eat it up. And I think for that reason alone, they're going to keep the titles on them.
Well, what I don't get is they went from being legitimate heels where everybody was New Day sucks.
Yeah.
And they didn't change
now
anything.
Everyone loves it.
And well, they didn't change anything. They acted stupid back then, and they still act stupid. They didn't do anything to become baby faces, and now everybody's into the New Day rocks.
On the New Day train. Yeah, I don't get it either. It's like, wait, what happened? Like, did they put something in our drinks when we were at the... You know what I mean? Like,
some New Day juice.
Some New Day juice. People are drinking it, and they're loving it, and I don't get it. You're right, I don't get it. Because, like you said, they didn't turn.
No.
Fans were just naturally like, oh, we like them now.
And then I still think I hear some New Day sucks in with it, but then when you listen real close, it's really New Day rocks. And
yeah, you're like, everyone's cheering for them. I don't understand.
Yep. Okay, and finally we have Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio.
Yes.
And I went against the grain on this one as well. I picked Alberto Del Rio, even though I really love Kalisto.
Me too. I think we all do.
Well, how can you not? After what he did off of the TLC.
Into the ladder.
Oh my
God. That was amazing.
I mean,
that was cool. It was the oh my god moment of the year, and it only happened like a week before the awards. That's how good it was.
Yep, and that's... But I'm picking Alberto Del Rio, John, Trevor, and Vanessa. All are picking Kalisto.
Yep, we all picked the same guy, except you. What? You rebel, you.
Well, I see... At first I thought I was a rebel on almost everything, but then I realized, well, no, there's two of them. All four of us picked the same.
Yeah.
And I could just say that you and John and Trevor are all clones because... And by the way, folks, nobody knew what the others were picking except for me. I had everybody's pick when I did my picks, but I didn't let that influence me.
Good job for you. Let's not be a robot. That's cool though. That's good. And see, the thing is, with Alberto Del Rio, I don't like him. I never did, guys. Like he's always been so boring and generic, and like nothing about him stands out to me. To me, he's annoying, and like when he came back to WWE, I was like, but why? I don't. What do you want? Like, go away. Like, I don't know. I just don't like him. It's not that he's not a good wrestler, because he's good. I'm just not a fan.
Well, I'm the same way with him. We feel exactly the same way about him.
I'm like whatever about him, you know what I mean? Like, no energy. Like, I don't want to really cheer you. I don't really want to boo you. I just don't care about you, like, at all. Like,
yeah,
I don't care if you get injured and stuff, but
and when he was out there with the other guys in, what is it, the League of Nations or
League of Nations, yeah.
You know, and he's standing up on the ring from the outside, and it's like, can you get him off the camera?
Like, leave him, like, yeah, like, go away, please. Like, I don't know what it is about him, but he just, he doesn't do anything. Like I said, he doesn't make me want to cheer him. He doesn't even make me want to boo him. I just want to to me, he's boring. Like, he's not worth my energy. Like, it sounds so bad. Like, I hate to bash a wrestler like that, but, you know, that's why, like, when Kalisto won it on Monday Night Raw, I was like, oh my god, WWE did something that nobody saw coming, and they're pushing an NXT star, and then, like, he loses it on SmackDown, and I'm like, oh, boo.
See, that's the only reason I think that Alberto's going to win, is because, to me, it almost makes it like a joke to keep, you know, every other show.
Like the hot potato stuff, yeah.
But maybe it works that way. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, and I think there's one more match, but isn't even, I don't even know if it's on the pre-show or if, like, but I think the reason why we forgot about it is because it's so random. It's like Damian Sandow and Darren Young versus the Dudleys versus the Ascension versus Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. It's like a fatal 4-way tag match, and then the team that wins gets put into the Royal Rumble. But I was like, these teams are so random. I don't understand. What is this thing? Why is Darren Young with Damian Sandow, not Titus? Like, I was like, is Titus injured or something? Like, did I miss something? I was confused. I was so confused.
Well, let's look at TNA real quick. I'll run down through the winners. Jeff Hardy versus Tyrus. Jeff won by DQ. Gail Kim defeated the Awesome Kong to keep her title. The tag team champions, the Wolves, were interrupted in the back by Crazy Steve while cutting a promo. The monster Abyss appeared, and Abyss and Crazy Steve attacked the Wolves. What a pair that is, Abyss and Crazy Steve.
That's a crazy pair.
Jeff Hardy, along with his wife, came to the locker room, talked to Jeff. Matt told Jeff to go to the doctor to get his knee checked out. Beer Money defeated Eli Drake and Jesse Goddard's. Bobby Lashley issued a challenge to Kurt Angle. Angle accepted. Lashley said he would kick Angle's. It's asterisk SS on my sheet here. The Miracle Mike Bennett with Maria Kanellis.
I love her. Just saying. Putting that out there.
I kind of just slowed down so you could get something in there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Was victorious in his Impact Wrestling in-ring action debut against Pepper Marks. Heavyweight champion last standing match, EC3 versus Matt Hardy. If Matt Hardy loses, he leaves TNA forever. At one point in the match, Matt delivered a low blow kick to EC3. Fans booed Matt, and there were EC3 chants. That's hard to believe.
That's so weird. I know. It's like all backwards. It's like, why are they cheering this guy? They hate him. They're supposed to hate him.
Later, Matt got frustrated and got a hammer from his wife out of the diaper bag. Matt tried to hit.
That was funny.
Yeah. Matt tried to hit EC3 in the head with the hammer, but swung and missed. Tyrus came out and turned on EC3, attacking him.
That is so weird.
EC3 was able to beat the 10 count. Matt's wife gave Matt the title belt, and he hit EC3 in the head with it. EC3 was counted out. Matt is the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Wow, that's crazy. Hey, but let's point out, EC3 has yet to be pinned, so technically, he has, I mean, he's not undefeated anymore, but technically, he hasn't been pinned yet, so there. I like EC3 style. I like Matt Hardy too, because obviously I grew up in the Attitude Era, so that like match had me torn. I was like, but I don't know if I should be happy or if I should be sad.
He did a concerto.
Oh yes, those are concertos. Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
Let's never forget the inventors of that.
And I'll finish up with Lucha Underground, and then we're going to let you have a little bit of your UCF fix, UFC.
Yeah. UFC. It's backwards. Everything is backwards right now.
Lucha Underground, the second season, on the El Rey Network on Wednesday, January 27th. El Rey Network will also air a week-long 40-hour marathon of the entire season from January 23rd at 10 to Sunday, January 24th at 2 a.m. Eastern. So Lucha Underground ready to kick off Season 2. Now, UFC.
God, there's so much stuff happening in UFC. I don't even know where to start. I guess we could start with the event that happened this past weekend that I didn't watch because I was too tired to do anything after my Invicta 15 fiasco. But it was UFC Fight Night. The main event was TJ Dillashaw defending his bantamweight title against Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz is a guy who never lost the title because he had to forfeit it due to injury. And then all of a sudden, TJ is the one that picked it up and won it. And so they had their anticipated rematch. The fight went the distance. I mean, for those at home that don't know what that means, it went all 5 rounds and it went to the judges' scorecards. And by split decision, Dominic Cruz got his title back. He is the new bantamweight champion. Lots of people thought, not lots of people, but I guess people were on the up and up because some people thought that TJ should have retained, and some people were like, out of your mind, Dominic Cruz had that one from the beginning, and so it is what it is. I mean, I don't personally like when fights go to the decision because there's always that debate. I like to see finishes, whether it be a knockout or a submission. Those are I prefer because then you can't argue about them. But it is what it is. Dominic Cruz is the new bantamweight champion, and congratulations are definitely in order. The next thing I want to talk about, UFC 197 takes place March 5th, 2016. It's going to be headlined by 2 title belts. The first fight being Conor McGregor versus Rafael Dos Anjos, and it'll be for Rafael Dos Anjos' lightweight title. And people at home that might not follow the UFC might be thinking, wait a minute, what's happening? I thought Conor was the featherweight champion. Well, Conor is the featherweight champion, but he wants to be a 2-time champion in 2 separate divisions, and because he's a moneymaker, because he generates a lot of heat, because he upsets people, because he gets people to talk about him, Dana White is giving him what he wants, and for the first time, we'll see Conor compete in the lightweight division, and he's going to take on Rafael Dos Anjos in hopes of being a champion in 2 different weight divisions. I don't necessarily see how that's fair, especially because Conor hasn't even defended his featherweight title yet, especially because, to me, Frankie Edgar keeps getting snubbed of that opportunity, especially because he's been on a win streak and whatnot. It's nothing against Conor. I'm actually a Conor fan. I may not agree with everything that he says to promote himself or whatever, but I like him, but I feel like he should have at least defended his featherweight championship before he went to a new division and got an immediate title shot. But, like I said, it's all about the money, and Dana White's going to do whatever the hell he wants. So we have that. And then, of course, also at UFC 197, we will see the bantamweight champion, Holly Holm. That still sounds really weird to me. Defending her title against top number 2 contender, Miesha Tate. Obviously, there was talks about Holly Holm's first title defense being against Ronda Rousey at UFC 200 in July, but Ronda Rousey asked for more time off. You know, she has pre-obligations. She has the Roadhouse remake. She has the Arena project. She has a bunch of movie stuff going on. Mile 22. I mean, she's going to be on Saturday Night Live tonight. Yes, I'm plugging it. She'll be on Saturday Night Live hosting with Selena Gomez, so that's going to be amazing. So, I mean, she's busy. She's doing a lot of things, and a lot of people are like, oh, Ronda's done or whatever, but that's not the case because it was said by Ronda Rousey herself in a TMZ interview that she does look to return and that she's not retiring and that she will be back, and yeah, we're not seeing it at UFC 200, but we will see her back at some point. Who she's going to face, whether it's Holly Holm or Miesha Tate, and that's yet to be seen, and we'll figure out the answer to that on March the 5th. Other UFC news, The Ultimate Fighter Season 22 is going to kick off soon, and that starts in April, and the coaches are going to be the strawweight champion, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and then on the opposite side, Claudia Gadelha, and it's going to be 115 women, and then it's going to be the heavyweights for men, so it's going to be 2 different weight classes. I think this is the first time it's been done in Ultimate Fighter history. So that's some pretty exciting stuff. So those are the 3 major things that are happening in the UFC. But before I get out of MMA topics, I do want to plug that Invicta 16 is coming to Vegas, and that's going to happen on March 11th. And once again, I will be in attendance, so hopefully my phone isn't a giant jerk that week, and I can actually get some exclusive stuff for you guys, because it's going to be an awesome card. Stephanie Aging is returning. Christine Stanley is going to be on the card. Roxanne Modafari is going to be on the card. Vanessa Porto is going to be on the card. Alexa Grasso is coming back from injury, and she's going to be on the card. None of their opponents are named. They're all to be announced, but those names have been named for the card. And there's been talks of a possible Colleen Schneider going for the title against Tanya Evander. Tanya Evander is the bantamweight champion. The original number 1 contender was supposed to be Raquel Palui, but Colleen Schneider defeated her in Invicta 15. So by MMA math, I guess Colleen Schneider is the next one in line. So we'll have to wait and see, and the card's going to be slowly announced, and of course we'll keep you on the up and up about that. But I will be there, so exclusive stuff is about to go down. And yeah, that's pretty much all the news that's newsworthy as far as MMA goes.
I had to step out of the room for just a second, and I was going to ask, you may have said it while I was out of the room, Kenny Florian.
Oh,
what's up with that?
Yeah, they suspended him. I don't really even know the whole deal. I think it's because he said something that he wasn't supposed to say that goes against company policy. Honestly, I don't even know the whole deal. But all I know is that he's suspended, and to me that sucks, because not only does he do not commentary, but he does the I guess fight analysis would be the correct term. Not only does he do that, but he's a fighter as well. So it's he's in a really tough pickle. And I mean, I don't even know what to think about it. Whenever I hear a fighter getting suspended for a failed drug test or doing something against company policy, tarnishing Reebok or whatever the case may be, it sucks, because it's there's no freedom there really, unless you're getting positive drug testing, then that's your own fault. But I don't know, I kind of feel bad for Kenny, and like I said, I don't know the full logistics of the story, because like I said, I kind of didn't really, I won't lie, I didn't really read up on that one, but he is suspended, so.
Well, the statement says it's vitally important that Fox Sports and FoxSports.com maintain credibility and trust with their readers, viewers, and fans. Fox UFC on-air personality Kenny Florian is being suspended beginning immediately for a critical oversight in a story posted earlier this week on FoxSports.com. Florian has admitted and regrets his mistake and apologized for the error. So
just because he made a boo-boo, he got suspended. Okay, I guess.
If that was the case, there'd be tons of sports announcers that got suspended every week.
That's what I'm saying. It's so small. Why would you suspend someone for that? I don't get it. But again, Dana does what Dana wants to do, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that it wasn't only Dana's doing. It was probably Lorenzo's doing as well. But I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Well, we're going to close out with this. Trevor sent me a picture, a Twitter picture. It says, it's from Carl Anderson, and it says, "We're coming. Bullet Club.
Oh man, guys, I'm so excited for Sunday. This is gonna be amazing. I'm excited.
All right, well, for our good friend and my cousin John, who does a tremendous job behind the scenes writing things for us, who's been snowed in for a few days, for the boss man Trevor, this is Ed and Vanessa, and we'll see you again next week.
Take care, guys.
All right, and we are out of here.